bringing libertarian solutions to local problems. Let's talk about that. Instead of focusing on winning arguments, we're teaching the basic fundamentals of sales and marketing and how we can use them to win in the world of politics, teaching you how to meet people where they're at on the issues they care about. Welcome to The Brian Nichols Show. Well, hey there, folks. Brian Nichols here on The Brian Nichols Show, and thank you for joining us on, of course, another fun-filled episode. I am, as always, your humble host, joining you live from our BNC studios here in lovely Eastern Indiana. And now we're going to go back to where my stomping grounds were for almost a decade, 7 years out in the greater Philadelphia area. Joining us, running for Warwick Township Supervisor, Brittany Kosin. Welcome to the Brian Nichols Show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Brittany. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, you're joining us right there north of a city I called home for about 7 years or so, just north of Philadelphia. And you were running for Warwick Township Supervisor and asterisk as a big L Libertarian. Lots to dig into there. But first, do us a favor, Brittany. Introduce yourself here to the Brian Nichols Show audience. And yes, why are you running for office specifically with that big L next to your name?
So I am born and raised in this area in Warwick Township. Pretty much, I'm an ER nurse. I was a volunteer firefighter, EMT, so definitely in the first responder area. And big reason why I'm running is just to give my residents in the area a different choice, because our board has been Republican 3-0 for generations. And so it's been the chair asks for a motion, their one on the one side goes and makes the motion, the other one goes and seconds it. It's like, and it's the same thing every single time. So I'm just kind of coming in and giving a different bit of a choice for our residents here.
A different choice, and one with obviously that big L next to its name, which will raise some questions from your respective voter, and I would love to hear your responses. So one of the questions I'm sure you're going to be hearing from voters as you go out and speak to them face-to-face is, so what is a libertarian? So Brittany, what is a libertarian to you?
To me, it's pretty much someone that you let other people have their own opinions. You let them do them. And you don't criticize them for their having a different opinion than you. You respect their opinion. And just having it that everyone has a say and just still keeping their individuality is something that I love about the Libertarian platform.
Now, when you're looking at local issues right now in Warwick Township, let's kind of identify some problems you've outlined in your campaign as you're going through and talking to voters about where you would bring some libertarian solutions to those respective problems. If you could, let's start with number one. What would you say is one of the main issues you've identified in Warwick Township, and what does a libertarian solution look like to that problem?
One of the big things that we have in this area is just it's our taxes. And again, big thing with libertarians, taxation is theft, like no taxes or just at least minimalizing them where we can. But our township supervisor's current claim to fame is they've never raised the millage, but you don't have to raise the millage to raise the taxes. So they're getting a lot of the homes reassessed so that, yeah, your percentage is staying the same, but the value of your home is going up. So you're paying more in taxes that way. And they just, a little bit beyond ours is school district. Our superintendent just got I think it's like a $40,000 or $90,000 raise. Like he went to like $315,000. Like it's some astronomical number. Like,
did his skills improve $90,000 worth overnight?
He dealt with a lot, but I don't think it was $90,000 worth. But that's going to increase our taxes there. But that's county level, so that's one step above me. Mm-hmm. But with us having our homes reassessed and everything, my parents' house was bought for $140,000 15 years ago, 20 years ago or something, and our house right across the street from them is now we bought it for like $470,000 and is appraising at like 550, 600. So that's a big difference with what people are buying homes for and appraising for and everything. So it's just, people are just paying more and more in taxes in one way or another.
And how does the libertarian solution help remedy this problem?
My big thing would be, we don't need to appraise homes as much, or we can lower our millage. Our township's operating at a $16 million surplus. So we definitely have some money in the coffers that we can lower the millage a little bit and still be in the black solidly.
Talk to me about property rights as an issue when we're talking about, just north of Philadelphia. Obviously, lots of people in a relatively condensed area, geographically speaking. The question and the ideas of property rights all of a sudden really get put to the test. So talk to me about your approach to property rights as it would pertain to being, again, that big L libertarian there as township supervisor for Warwick Township.
Big thing with us, it's like, I would love to have it that we can do what we want on our properties. Like, it's our property. I don't think we should have 50 gazillion permits from the township to want to do what we want, as long, like, it's not bothering our neighbors. Like, it's not, I don't care about my neighbor's property value. It's my property's mine, yours is yours. My house isn't going to change the value of yours. And so a big thing, also just I will give a little credit to our township supervisors. Currently, we had a business that wanted to come in and basically go against everything that I would love to keep. They wanted to go into the wooded areas and change and add more parking and not have as much open space. They wanted all these variances that would affect other people's, just in general, just affect properties and around them and wildlife and all that. And I was like, this really isn't something we should have. And our township supervisors actually shot them down on a lot of it. So it's the one thing I'm like, hey, you actually followed something I believe in. But no, I think we need to we have way too many permits and stuff. It's like, I shouldn't need a permit to put a shed on my property. I shouldn't need a permit to put a walkway in my property. Like, do I want to send a thing to you and say like, hey, I'm not covering my whole front yard in pavers, but I still want to do what I want to do. Like, this is, I'm telling you, I'm not asking permission.
Yep. Well, from permitting to zoning, talk to me about how your libertarian solutions would help foster some economic growth for Warwick Township as it pertains not just to zoning, I guess, but other areas as well.
Big thing, again, goes back to our taxes. We have a lot of business taxes that have been increasing. So with those, I would go and have it that our businesses wouldn't be taxed as much. So by not having the businesses taxed as much, they're more likely to be in the township, and thus bringing in just revenue and providing jobs and everything else into the township. But we have like an amusement tax in the township, and I think two businesses, I think it's for like 6 machines.
You can't have fun without paying your fair share to the government. How dare you?
Well, it's not even like fun amusements. It's the coin operated like pool tables. Like, they pay people pay. We bring in like $250 a year in this tax. Like, but it's there. It exists. So that's something that's like that can go away. I think we're probably spending more money collecting the tax than we are actually from the tax.
I believe it. All right. Now talk to me about this. I was reading about Aqua. Talk to me about Aqua as it pertains to taking over Bucks County's water supply. What's that issue? Why is that a topic of conversation?
A big thing. So Aqua's been kind of sneaking around and buying up small townships' water supplies and becoming their water supplier.
And who is Aqua? Just for context?
It's just a business, basically a big corporation that it's the same idea as like Pico, going around and getting all these little sub companies for energy suppliers, but this is for water. But with Aqua, they're going and like saying, yeah, we're not going to increase your water rate and stuff like that for the first year or whatever, and then they go and like triple and quadruple your rate a year later, and the townships are stuck with them for like a 15-year contract, 20-year contracts. And a big thing with me with running for Libertarian stuff, I will stand firm and will not let Aqua come into Warwick Township. We have our own water supplies. We have our own wells. We have a lot of springs and wells in the township. And I am not linking us with Aqua at all, because with that too, you have the connection. Now you're connected with other townships and other things that if something happens with them and they need finances for infrastructure damages, a water main break, whatever, it's going to trickle down and affect other people that don't even live near there and aren't directly affected by it.
Sorry, I'm laughing at trickle down because pun of water.
Yeah.
I'm 5. Now I'm going to ask you to put on your devil's advocate hat, Brittany. What's the argument then in favor of Aqua? Why would somebody want Aqua to come take over the town's water for the township? Is it that the town's water has not been that great, or is it expensive to treat? What's the issue there?
Honestly, I think it would just be laziness. It's one thing they don't have to handle. It's kind of just push it off to someone else's problem.
Is that a bad thing though? Necessarily? Like, hey, these guys are experts in water treatment. Like, let's go to these guys versus having some, thousands of dollars towards a water treatment plant and stuff. Like, does that not make sense?
It does at the same time, but the other point is, like, do you want to stay independent and not relying on someone else?
Yeah, and you spoke to like well water, right? Like that's huge. I'm from upstate New York originally. I didn't even know that like there was a difference until my grandma moved to the city, and I was like, oh, your water tastes different. Why does it taste different? She's like, oh, it's city water. I was like, there's a thing called city water. Like, you don't have your own water. And I was like 4, and I was blown away. Same thing, right? Like same thing for what you guys are talking about right there. There's a vast difference between the well water and the city water. And I guess to your point, right? Like, not only is there that issue about the tripling of costs, but you do mention kind of the long-term implications of what if, there's an issue down the road with another municipality or township or whatever it may be. Definitely big red flags there. Talk to me also about empowering Warwick's volunteer fire company. Why is that an issue? And how would you, as a Libertarian, help empower the fire company?
So big thing. That's a big thing close to my heart, because I volunteered with Warwick for 10 plus years. It's where I got to start. It's where my dad's a life member. With that, this is a nationwide pandemic with losing volunteers. So I would love to see, and again, goes back into our taxes, a tax break or an incentive, some type of incentive for people to volunteer for the fire company. And just bring in more volunteers so that we don't have to go paid. Because going paid is a whole new can of worms that you don't want to enter. If our township, I don't know where the size breaks are, but I know there's, depending on the size of our township and everything, we might have to develop a civil service commission and everything else to bring in paid staff, because we'd have to do civil service tests and bring in the CPAT, the agility test and everything, and have annual testing and windows where people can apply versus just saying, hey, we have a vacancy, apply. Okay, here's your interview and get a job. So it kind of opens that whole new can of worms. Another big thing with the fire company is the township supervisors reallocated a big chunk of the fire tax. And that's like one of the few taxes that I feel like we should keep, because you're paying to maintain your safety. Because not everybody knows how to put out the fire in their house. And I don't think everyone can afford a multi-million-dollar fire truck. So I think we really need to bring and get that fire tax going to where it belongs. And if we're we have every year we give about $50,000 of relief aid to one of our mutual aid companies, but we have like 6 others that surround us. So it's kind of like a all or nothing, in my opinion. Like, why are we giving this one municipality $50,000 and we're not giving anybody else anything else?
Right.
And so it's like, I would get rid of that. Just be like, hey, either we share the wealth or just, I don't think they need it.
Gotcha. All right. Now, Brittany, we talked about the problems that you've identified in Warwick Township and specifically the Libertarian solution, but let's talk about the actual role of Township Supervisor. Why is that important? Why should you not only be running for office as a Libertarian for this role, but why is it important for the voters to pay attention to that role as well?
So pretty much Township Supervisor, we have it as a mayor split into 3 people. So we have 3 township supervisors that have a meeting every month and vote on different things and like help with basically deciding, like right now we're going to be deciding on a new police chief soon. So during my term, if I get in, it's going to be a decision of nominating and voting on who's going to be our next police chief for the township. Also, there's a couple other positions that they appoint or vote on to help run the township. They also determine what we affiliate with. So different things, if someone like the school district comes in and wants to do stuff with the buses and needs our police assistance in doing things, we would vote on that. It's just a big... We have a township manager as well. So that's kind of what someone that runs a little bit more of our day-to-day stuff. They get determined who they are by the township supervisors. So we're like the big all B powers that decide who runs the day-to-day, who runs the police department and everything.
Gotcha. See, that's why we asked that question, because it's important. People want to know why this actually matters, right? How the roles actually work. And I think that's one thing too, just like kind of explaining how the political process works to maybe your average person who doesn't pay attention and they're not aware. So with that being said, we are going to head towards final thoughts. But before we get there, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Cardio Miracle. Now, folks, I've been using Cardio Miracle now for about a month and a half, going on 2 months, and I absolutely love it. Now, here's one reality. Now, I use a Cardio Miracle more for just regular physical fitness. I like, the pump I get extra at the gym. Plus, I notice I feel just better across the board, and I notice my blood pressure went down as well. But here's the other thing: if you're like one of the millions of Americans who is suffering from heart disease, well, heart disease is the #1 leading cause of death in America, according to the American Heart Association. And hey, it's no secret that your heart needs special attention. And that's why Cardio Miracle is one of your best natural ways to care for your heart, as Cardio Miracle supports better blood flow, oxygen levels, and blood pressure. So if you want better heart health, better sleep, better recovery, better energy, hey, even a better you, will go ahead, get your Cardio Miracle today, and be sure to use code TBNS at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you're going to go ahead and order your Cardio Miracle through the link here in the Brian Nichols show notes, that should automatically apply that 15% discount there. But just in case, have code TBNS in your back pocket for 15% off. 53 whole food bioavailable nutrients delivered in one serving. And as a reminder, if you are not satisfied, 100% money back guarantee on your order. So head to briannicholsshow.com, order your Cardio Miracle today, and use code TBNS at checkout for 15% off your order. All right, Brittany, let's go towards final thoughts. What would you like to leave our audience with today as they're kind of going, not just towards the tail end of the episode, but as they are approaching the ballot box here in November?
Big thing I would be is research every candidate. Do your research, look them up, check their websites out, and just really educate yourself and see how much you align with them and what's going to benefit what you want from a candidate. Like I know from my area, I'm big on transparency and being a different voice in the room. So it's just something that we're not going to have this rubber stamping in my township anymore.
Brittany, I appreciate you coming on the show and obviously sharing why you're running for local office. And we've talked about this on the show many a time. Here's my final thoughts for today. This is how big L libertarians will win, right? You win by building trust. You build trust by running for local office. You don't build trust by just coming out of nowhere and running for president of the United States and being like, you're not going to vote for me? What? Why? I don't understand. Because we haven't built trust up yet, right? So let's do more of what Brittany's doing. Let's build more relationships by running for local office, and also bring our solutions to the problems we've identified, address those problems. And once we've addressed those problems, then leverage that to and leverage the trust we've accumulated along the way to running for higher up office, and hopefully leaving more people alone, right? To Brittany's point earlier, don't hurt people, don't take their stuff. That is the world we want to live in, and we get there by actually having some libertarians elected to office and impacting policy. So this is the way to do it. Brittany, thank you for joining us. Thank you for leading the charge and leading by example, frankly. So, folks, if you got value from today's episode, you know the drill. Go ahead, give it a share. When you do, please tag yours truly on Twitter, x.com. I don't know. And you can do that at B Nichols Liberty, or Facebook at B Nichols Liberty. Brittany, where can folks go ahead and follow you if they want to go ahead and continue the conversation? But also, where can folks go ahead and donate to your campaign if they want to support you going forward?
So my website is Brittany Kosin for PA. That's FORPA .com. That's my big site. All of my links for my socials are all in there. I don't know off the top of my head. I have too many socials. I know I'm on Twitter. I know I'm on whatever it is now, on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. I'm everywhere. So the big thing is actually my other site. I have two because I ran for township or for a state rep. It's actually votebrittanykosin.com. I have two. So votebrittanykosin.com.
Perfect. And we will include those links there in the show notes, folks. And again, if you did not know, by the way, so there's two ways you can catch the show. One, video. Two, podcast audio. Number one, for the video version of the show, we are on YouTube, we are on Rumble, and we are on Ben Swann's Sovereign, SOVREN. We are big fans of independent media here at the Brian Nichols Show, and Ben Swann's Sovereign is one of the best sites I found to date. So I am proud not just to give the audience over at Sovereign a Sovereign exclusive, which is, by the way, seeing today's episode before everybody else, but also I am proud to just support and tell you guys to go support Ben Swann's Sovereign, because it is an awesome organization, awesome site with some awesome people over there, frankly. So head over there, SOVREN. But hey, if you are watching us on the more traditional media like YouTube, for example, well, hey, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you joining us. Do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit that little notification bell so you don't miss a single time we go live. And by the way, if you are in fact joining us here on YouTube, stick around, because our conversation yesterday, where we sat down with Angie Wong, great conversation. We dug into all things from how the government is brainwashing your kids in the government schooling system to the elderly caucus, which you'll have to go ahead and obviously check out that conversation. So that's popping up right about here. But yes, we are on podcasts. So whether it's Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or Spotify, wherever it is you get your podcasts, just do me a favor, hit that subscribe button again, but also hit download all unplayed episodes. We have 750 plus episodes here on the Brian Nichols Show, where we've had local candidates like Brittany, we've had elected officials, we've had economists, we've had CEOs, we've had anybody you can really think of. We've had here on the program really fun conversations, but regardless, I promise they will leave you educated, enlightened, and informed. But that's all we have for you today. So we're going to go ahead and put a pin in today's conversation. And if you are in Warwick Township, please go give Brittany some support. Go ahead and support her campaign, not just by, if you would want to vocally support her campaign, but also monetarily support her campaign. I know she would appreciate it as well. So folks, thank you for joining us. That being said, Brian Nichols signing off here on the Brian Nichols Show for Brittany Kosin. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to The Brian Nichols Show. Find more episodes at briannicholsshow.com.